Hello there, in this video we're going to look at a World of Warcraft add-on for the minimap. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, this is the minimap here. You can't drag it or anything, you can't edit anything over it. As an example, you can't move these small circles here, and on the default minimap you can zoom in and out. You've got the calendar and the clock. The add-on is called SexyMap, and the minimap looks really good in my opinion. It definitely lives up to its name, and you can also drag it around the screen. You have a lot of more options that you can use for it. As an example, you can change the small circles here and you can drag them around the minimap. So if you want it next to the clock, you can do that. Same goes with the calendar. This also works for add-ons that add small circles to the minimap as well. Those you can also drag around. As an example, I'm using Market here. Now you can right click on the minimap and it will take you straight to the settings for it, instead of having to go to interface and then to add-ons to edit it. Now under the settings you have a lot of different options for the minimap, like lock minimap, and you can see now I can't drag it anywhere. And then there's clamp to screen, so basically it will stay on the screen, it won't move off it. So if I untick it, then you can see it will go off the screen. It even gets minimized. Rotate minimap does that instead of your character's icon on the minimap just moving, when you tick the rotate minimap, your whole minimap will basically rotate with the icon as well every time you turn. Now the right click configure basically is so you can right click on the minimap and you won't have the settings pop up. Show north tag basically enables and disables the little N icon here on the minimap. You can just barely see it. Now the scale bar basically scales the size of the minimap, so you can have a large minimap if that is what you want, or a small one. The auto zoom out delay bar gives you the option to add a selected amount of seconds to how long it takes till you've zoomed in or out on the minimap, which you also can do, which is a really nice feature. I really like that. So basically, let's say we've zoomed totally in, and then we wait for 5 seconds, and it goes back to its default version. And now for presets, there are quite a few presets that you can choose from. Now under default, we have the blue rune circles, which is basically the default one when you install the add-on. Then we've got blue rune diamond, and basically when you change it you have to say accept, so you get this diamond shape around the minimap now. The minimap is also kind of like a diamond. Then you got blue square glow, so you've got a square and it's glowing just a little bit with blue. And you've got burning sun, which adds a burning circle around your minimap. Then we have electric. Adds electric kind of effect around the minimap, though it doesn't seem to move. Then we've got jewels. Adds a black square around the minimap with some jewels icons on each side. Then we've got parchment, which adds like the World of Warcraft classic parchment effect to a square around the minimap. Then we've got rogue, for those rogue players. Adds a spinning circle around the minimap with some skulls, but it's very transparent. Then we have ruins, which adds a very large square box around the minimap, as well as a background image of very possibly a ruins place in World of Warcraft somewhere. Then we have rustic, which adds a rustic metal bar around your minimap. Then we have simple square, which adds a very simple square around your minimap. Looks really good in my opinion. The others also look great, but if you're looking for something that is simple, then this is just perfect. Then we've got Stargate, which pretty much adds like a slowly turning circle around your minimap. And last we have Wood Framed, which adds a wood frame around your minimap. Looks really good. And now we have User Submitted Presets, Clouds, which adds this really cool cloud effect to the minimap, as well as a kind of a turning vortex It's very slowly moving. Doesn't look like it, but it really is actually moving. Then we have Diablo. For all those Diablo players out there who's also playing World of Warcraft, a really awesome metal circle around the minimap with spinning like metal pieces and either Diablo's head or wings. I'm not too sure what it is. Then we've got the Emerald Portal, which is clearly inspired by the Emerald Dream. Looks really good. Then we have the Faded Square, which adds a black kind of faded square around the minimap. Also looks like it's almost zoomed in on the sides, and I've noticed when you hover over it, it actually goes purple, so that's a really cool effect to it. Then there's Shamanism, perfect for all shaman players. And it's a very transparent circle around your minimap that spins, and shaman symbols, looks really awesome. And last we have Space, which adds these spinning planets around your minimap. Looks really cool as well. And I believe they are planets from the World of Warcraft lore. And now for profiles, basically you can set a profile for all of your characters. So you don't need to have to go in and edit every single one if that is something you don't want to do. Now if we press over here to the left, this little plus icon, we get a lot of more options for our minimap. On the borders you have the hide default border, which is already checked, so it's hiding the default border you have in the game. You can also create your own border as well as select presets that you've made, or the current ones that there are. You can also change the shape of the minimap, as you can see there. Hexagon and faded circle, Route 66, it all changes that. As well as the background edge, so you can make the edge much bigger or smaller if you want. As well as the opacity. And the texture you can also change, like the color and so on. There's also border texture where you can change the border quality of it. So you see it becomes more pixelated when you move it inwards. And each preset has their own kind of like effect, like the runes here. So you can also change these effects, like right now it's using the artwork, and we change it to background. As you can see now, it becomes more clear rather than that blue effect before. We even change the background there. That looks very weird. You can also disable the rotation on it, the effect itself. So see, now it just stands still. You can also experiment with these borders. As an example, I went on the electric and it has these lightning effects here. And if you press disable rotation, it will actually start rotating the borders. It's rather funny. Imagine playing World of Warcraft like this. You can just, like, looking at the minimap is a challenge in itself. Again, I'm not sure why it does that, but I think it's funny. I mean, there are so many possibilities with these presets. Now, some settings will mess up the minimap, so you can just experiment away really and find out what you want to use. Now on the buttons you have several options, like you can show calendar, the map buttons, the zoom in buttons, so they're always there. You can also have it on hover, so basically you have to hover over to have them appear, or never, so they just basically never show up. And if you're using another add-on, you can just click these and the SexyMap add-on won't affect your other mod. This add-on also works with the mail icon, like this is the default version. Now how it looks like with the add-on. You can find the options under the dynamic buttons, so you can also have it like on hover, so only appear when you hover over the minimap, or never if that is what you want. These options also work for the challenge mode button, the dungeon difficulty indicator, the garrison button, the guild dungeon difficulty, and back up you can choose to decide the drag radius, if you want them far apart or very close in on the map. And you can also lock the button dragging. There's also options for the clock, like you can change the horizontal position and vertical position. So you can slam it right in the middle of the map or below it. You can change the font size of it, making it bigger or smaller. You also change the font of it. And you also change the font color as well, which is really neat. There's a lot of neat options for it. The background color as well. And the border color. And then it also has the always on hover and never options too. With the add-on also comes coordinates options, so you can enable it here and you can actually drag it the whole way around the screen, or if you want to put it anywhere on the minimap. There is font options for it as well. Backdrop color too, and border color as well. And you can change the font size of it too, and the font itself. And then you can also just reset it if you want to move it back to where it was before. And it of course also has its lock coordinations options. With the add-on you also get a hot map option. This is very useful, as it says, for gathering resources. So when you enable it, it appears here. You can also keybind it. So as you can see the icons all over the map, so if you have resources tracking, then you can see that as well. You can also change the HUD color, the text color, and the scale of the text, as well as the icons, and the opacity. And then it is also compatible with other add-ons, so if you have them installed you can press them there. So as an example, opacity on low. You can see there, then you have just the icons floating around in front of you. You've also got options for movers, so you can enable it and then you can move the quest tracking around your screen, as well as armored man mover and vehicle seat mover. And you can also lock them. You also have ping options, so you can see who has clicked around on the minimap. You can like show it inside the chat, so you can see who the perpetrator is if he's spamming all over the minimap. You can also have it show on the minimap itself. And last you have the zone text options. You can move it horizontal, vertical. You can change the text width of it, and the font size, as well as the font color, the background color, and of course the border color. And it also has the show options. So that covers everything in the add-on. A very good add-on for the minimap in my opinion. I really like it. I love that there's so many options that you can choose from. If you're tired of the default minimap, then you should definitely get this add-on. So if you want to download it, I'll provide a link in the description for you. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video.